Lawsuit.
One of the worst things I've seen from the success of Palworld has to be the conversations of Nintendo possibly looking into legal action. If you're new to gaming or just aren't that educated, the gaming world is the world's premier breeding ground for lawsuits. Lawsuit talk in gaming is usually derived from some stupid parents who are mad at their little Bobby for playing too many games. You don't tend to see companies go after one another as much as this, as there's way more disgruntled parents for some reason. They claim things like that games are just made to be addicting and that all these flashing lights, sound effects, fancy graphics are ruining their kid by giving them things such as severe emotional distress, anger, and depression. Jeez, man, Blood has to be playing some crazy games to feel all these emotions. You know, maybe the severe emotional distress, I could have that type of feeling towards a game, maybe like Red Dead 2. But what about the anger? You know, it has to be from a game like Getting Over It.
Not too strong.
But then what about depression? What game could cause you depression?
Thinking that I was a bad parent.
No, you're not a bad parent. Let's see what these video games are. I mean, we got to see what the games are first,
He
guys.
plays, including Fortnite, Roblox, and Minecraft.
I'm not sure if I heard that right, guys. This little goofball is having emotional distress over Fortnite. These gamer parents are always in denial of their own faults, and they refuse to put the blame on themselves. They always sue for literally the dumbest reasons. I mean, they literally expect these game companies to supervise their kids for them. If your kid is having severe emotional distress while playing Escaped Ice Spice Obby or Shrek in the Backrooms, I think your son has some bigger issues than gaming. But my friends, all lawsuits aren't just done by disgruntled parents who are mad at their kids playing too much Minecraft. Sometimes games can sue each other. The biggest lawsuit in recent memory may be taking place soon. The lawsuit I'm talking about is Nintendo, the owner of Pokemon, who is looking to take legal action against Palworld. For those of you who don't know what Palworld is, a quick 10-second rundown of it is that Palworld is Pokemon with guns. Woo! I think that's a record. Nintendo has decided to look into suing Palworld because Palworld may have directly copied digital assets from Pokemon games. It is insane to me that Nintendo's response to the whole Palworld craze is not to make a huge Pokemon game that vastly overshadows Palworld. Nah, that's too hard. Nintendo doesn't want to work hard, or at least the Pokemon company doesn't. Nintendo would rather just try to legally force them to stop. But that to me brings a big question into my mind. Can Palworld get sued by Nintendo? Well, yes, no, kinda. I mean, can they sue? Yes, for sure Nintendo has the power to sue Palworld, but do they have a case? That is when things get kinda dicey. You see, the lawsuit talk may come to a surprise to many of you that Nintendo would ever do such a thing. That Nintendo would go after a small group of developers just to keep their monopoly on this monster genre of gaming. Well, unfortunately, this is not the first time such thing has happened with Nintendo and Pokemon games. They love suing so much, in fact, that they outright sue and kill games with no remorse. One of the biggest examples of this, and one I could remember being devastated by, was a game on Roblox. Yes, that Roblox that apparently causes severe and emotional distress. The game was called Pokemon Brick Bronze. Pokemon Brick Bronze, as the first word in its name suggests, was a fan-made Pokemon game that was on the Roblox site in the mid to late 2010s, and at the time was one of the staples on the site. It grew in popularity as it was not only a free alternative to the $60 price wall of your standard Pokemon game, plus a huge chunk of dough on a console if you did not already have it, but was also genuinely really fun. Fun seems to be the big difference between these soulless Pokemon cash grab games and the small development team games. A lot of the fun had to do with the obvious passion put in by the dev team, as there would be a ton of events and amazing updates brought to the game seemingly month after month. This constant stream of content helped build a huge community of people on Roblox. An unfortunate thing for Brick Bronze though was that Nintendo would end up catching wind of it. Nintendo would do a quick investigation and find out that the Pokemon Brick Bronze dev team was using assets made by Nintendo themselves. Does this ring any bells? But hey, come on, surely a multi-billion-dollar company whose games Brick Bronze are based on, you know, the ones that sell tens of millions of copies within their first week, you know, this company Nintendo wouldn't in any world threaten legal action against a small group of devs not making a fraction of what Nintendo was rolling in. No way Nintendo would care, or let alone even pay attention enough to sue these guys, right? Nintendo's the nice guys, right? And in April 2018, Brick Bronze was officially banned due to copyright reasons. So back to Palworld. Will this be another Nintendo figures out you exist, so you must face the O.J. Simpson level legal team situation? Well, Palworlds might not be exactly like Pokemon Brick Bronze in that it's not a carbon copy of Pokemon. There are still some similarities that Nintendo will for sure use in their case against Palworld. A notable one is the PAL deck. At first glance, you notice that the PAL deck is pretty similar to the Pokédex in its function, and also its name is pretty sus in my opinion. Also, skill fruits, that's another thing where I just feel it's literally just TMs but repackaged. Another point, albeit kind of weak, Nintendo could make is the ability to store and take out pals and also use them. Oh, and also don't forget, Palworld copied Pokemon with one of its biggest features, almost exclusive to Pokemon: bugs. I don't know if Nintendo will use that one though. If you're like me, you may think that these are some pretty weak points overall. Nintendo surely has no real case here. No. My friend, you must have forgotten who is suing Palworlds. This ain't no mom talking about Fortnite depression. This is the Sal Goodman of gaming. Nintendo has a trap card, or at least that's what they believe. I think the main thing going in Nintendo's favor is the comparison of Pokemon and the pals. But I still think Nintendo, with all their money, still doesn't have a strong enough case here. You see, there's a few problems Nintendo will eventually run into while trying to see if they have a case here. First of all, Palworlds is not officially, and I repeat, officially use any Pokemon characters in their games. Yeah, some mods do use Pokemon, but that would be pointless to say anything about them because, you know, Nintendo is already on that. But as long as Palworld developers are not using any Pokemon's name, image, or likeness, Nintendo will have to put down its paperwork and be forced to make a good Pokemon game. And then, does that mean Palworlds is safe? Well, no, at least not entirely. According to some strong sources, Palworld is using some models and assets from Nintendo and other games. If this is true, my friends, this is where Palworld could go completely off rails, because if they're using a lot of assets from not only Nintendo games but other games in general, this may be a scenario where Palworld gets legally jumped by every big dog in the gaming industry. So is this the end of Palworld? Well, no. They've rolled in so much money at this point that even if they do get sued and lose a lot of money, they can not only pay off all their legal fees but also invest into better and more original assets. The lawsuit, in my opinion, could be a blessing in disguise for the devs over at Palworld. Most of the community is already going to be on their side if the lawsuit commences, and going through hardships of being destroyed by the big bad bullies at Nintendo's law firm will allow them to rebuild and make their game even more popular than ever. I truly feel bad for game companies when they get sued like this, especially by bigger companies. Yeah, on one hand, it is their assets, but if anything, they should be happy there's more competition so they have a reason to improve their own games that are in serious need of improvement. I think the only reason people even remotely compare this to Pokemon at all was because one random goofball decided that this game was nothing more than Pokemon with guns. And now that's the headline everyone seems to be running with. I mean, literally everyone. If you search up Palworlds on YouTube, it's just Pokemon with guns over and over again. I mean, I was close to even naming it that. But if you look at Palworlds, you can see it's so much more than just Pokemon with guns. So I'm officially coining the term that Palworld is officially Pokemon with forced labor of an animal who's being put in harsh, horrible conditions to have them then create the Pokemon with the gun.